politics. We looked at the revolutionary politics, the importance of Ho Chi Minh, the Indochina Labor Party, the Communist Party, and everything in Vietnam from the August Revolution of 1945 forward. But central to that whole political revolutionary history was the person of Ho Chi Minh and the building of the party.
He's this great liberator, and I just was like, how do you keep this mythic hero at the front of a society for, I mean, he is, since, you know, the 50s, their reference point. Dan wanted us to see the mausoleum and the crowds, and so we stood in line for a long time, got separated.
On that Sunday, you know, we were maybe, well, we were the minority, to put it lightly.
I don't know, just like this huge mass of people, and then it's all orderly, and you know, you're walking quietly through the mausoleum, and then I was like, that's really his body? I mean, he's been dead for like a long time, and I didn't expect to see the body. I was like, oh, you know, the tomb or whatever. Everyone's so quiet, like it's reverential, and you know, parents are with their little children and they're putting them up on their shoulders and they can see it, and I mean, I wish I could have understood what was being whispered. Like, I mean, it just would have been fascinating to hear that. And how do you maintain that? And then I'm reading the paper downstairs, and you know, the party is forming this committee to strengthen the country's following of Uncle Ho's ethical and moral principles. So, you know, 2007, and they're still drawing back on this, and I don't know if I would have believed it if I hadn't been to the mausoleum and seen just how it's integral. Like, you can't take Ho Chi Minh out of the Vietnamese society right now, and that's so fascinating to me because I can't translate that into my experience at home. There's not, you know, this iconic American figure that my identity would shift irreparably if it was taken out. So I don't know, that's just fascinating.
The other thing we saw in Hanoi in the north was culture. And in terms of culture, it wasn't just the ancient market system and the old quarter, but some of the old art forms, from the water puppetry to the architecture of the old quarter, to the way the streets are laid out, to the influence of French Western architecture and the layout of the French quarter of Hanoi. The overlap of cultures, where you have a cathedral here and a pagoda here and a communal house here and a mew or an altar here. I mean, all of these things are on top of each other in Hanoi in a way that you just don't see in the South, because the Chinese and the French influence are so powerful up north. And then in Hanoi also was this industrialization. As you drive into Hanoi from the airport, you see all the Japanese factories on top of what was once rice paddy. And as you go from Hanoi out to Ha Long Bay, Korean and Japanese and Chinese factories all the way out to the port. And as we then went south from the city to Chua Hung, again, factories and factories and factories on top of rice paddies. This is a time of peace. This is a time of economic prosperity, and they're setting the stage for the next generation right now. And it'll be more industrialized and less agrarian than any time in Vietnam's 4,000 or 5,000 year history.